You are entering the cosmos.
Imagine if you were able to watch your great-grandparents tell stories from their lives. What made them laugh? What moved them? How they responded to adversity and triumph? And what impacted their existence? That would be a treasure. Now you can offer that gift to your loved ones. Hello, I'm Dennis Tardan. For more than 45 years, I've been a professional interviewer documenting the lives and times of hundreds of people. I will guide you or your family member through the important stories of your lives using my unique interviewing skills. I'm now offering my legacy interviews worldwide via Zoom from the comfort of you or your loved one's own home. All you need is a webcam, and I will do the rest. Contact me today to schedule your legacy interview.
Welcome to Cruising with LR.
Hi, I'm Linda Rose, aka LR. I'm your host of Cruising with LR. Cruising with LR is going to have something for everybody, and it'll be happening weekly on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. The cool thing about my show is that it's going to have 4 categories that are paired with the 4 weeks in a month.
Week 1 is sports. Week 2 is influencer. Romeo. Oh, Romeo. Wherefore art thou, Romeo? Week 3 is arts. Now, scoot down a bit. Alright, just go back to the right.
Week 4 will be reading and writing. For the poetry piece I'm going to be reading today is Dust of Snow by Robert Frost. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of the day I had rude.
The reason I did all these categories is so that everybody has something to look forward to on my show. For example, if someone's more interested in the sports than they are in arts, they know to look for week 1's episode, not week 3's. My first episode will air September 5th at 8:30 p.m. and I will have a Facebook group called Cruising with LR that I will be very active on, and I encourage you all to be active on as well. And you guys being active on can include like live streams and posts and anything you want to post on there. I will have a Instagram, which is lindarose_photography07, no caps, and my TikTok is lindarose.k with no caps. Thank you guys so much, and I can't wait for September 5th.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to Talk.
Yeah, we're welcome to Talk. Yes, and David is here, and he's like, "What are we doing?" Yes, we're doing Talk, and yes, look at LR. LR, awesome preview for your new show. Looking forward to catching it. Yeah, that's kind of like in the buzz right now. There's some LR stuff coming up on September 5th. Right around the corner. That's like so soon now. And then Orchid Time season 3. Can you believe that? Oh my gosh.
I know, I can't believe it. I can't. Well, we're gonna blink, and the girls are gonna be graduating in 3 years. Look how
I
fast that
think
3 years went.
if you look at season one, like if you go to Tardan Media's YouTube and you look at season one, they look so much younger. And then if you look at them and when season three starts, everyone's going to be like, okay, these are women, these are adults. It was, I think 14, 15, that area, that really is a huge. Do you remember, like, what were you like when you were like 14 or 15? Do you remember like really having that concept of like you're an adult, but then you're still treated like a kid and
We
there's all
didn't
that
have a lot of
tension?
supervision, so I think we always felt kind of like, I don't know that there was a difference for us between feeling like an adult and feeling like a child. We were responsible for, hello,
Mhm.
internet,
That's
latchkey,
true. Yeah, that's actually true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
taking
Um,
care of the those when you're 10.
okay, so tell people why we're not doing journeys tonight and why we're doing a pop-up of Talk of the Town instead.
Yes. So Corey was supposed to be our guest tonight,
Mhm.
and he hasn't been feeling well, and he was off grid today. So I just want to ask everybody to say a little prayer for him. I don't know what's going on. He may have it may have slipped his mind with not feeling well, but I'm feeling like maybe he's not well. So if everybody
Mm.
could just say a prayer for him, and we will get him back. We will get him on. And
Yeah, absolutely.
we just decided we were ready. We'll do a talk.
I mean, we might as well. We're all dolled up, right? And so we might as well just do a talk. And of course, Sandy, I don't know if she's still live, but she's talking to Bethy Allen and Brandon from Westerner, who's also a
I know
hypnotherapist.
quite a bit of it.
And I got to like come in like right at the beginning, and I kept staying because I was so in. He cured Sandy of smoking, Bethy of smoking. I'm asking him if I could curb my cookie addiction, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's easy." He's like, "That's not even a full." He was like pish posh, like he could take care
I
of that.
like TMI. I like being poor. Addiction.
Oh, what are you drinking out of, MM? I see you're drinking out of something. What could that
Oh,
be?
look, it's a Cosmos TV mug. Everybody should
Oh,
go on the Outpost and check it out.
oh, is that available in our link tree,
Feature
perhaps?
section,
Okay, it's
Cosmos Fear.
beautiful.
It's hard to put it up into the camera because it's opposite.
Yeah, let me see. Try it one more time. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. It looks like a crescent moon.
Do you love it?
I love it. So there's an outpost and people can visit the merch outpost
Now you
and
can have
they can
shirts.
buy stuff like that. Yeah, there's like lots of
Gloves.
different designs up there too. Different colors, different designs, and that's through spring, right?
Yes. And
Okay.
the link is pinned at our top of the group.
Yes. So if you just go to our Facebook group, you will see it. Cosmos Creative TV, you will absolutely see it. And John is here as right now. Um, Did we want to run the, I don't know. Do we want to run the Corey video that you made, or do you want to save that
Let's wait
for,
on that.
let's wait. Okay.
If he's
Oh,
not doing well, I feel like I don't want him to be left out of it.
yeah, that's good. That's good. Sarah says she has the tank top. So
Yeah. How do you like it, Sarah? Does it fit true to size?
tell us about the sizes and how it is. I got to get something. There's so many options. I get paralyzed when there's too many options. I'm so bad at decision making. And I went there, I go there a lot, and I'm like, they're all so cute. They're all so awesome.
What I did, I finally ended up saying, okay, I need to get something that I can have on a live to start sparking interest of people that have been asking.
Yeah.
Actually stuff, and I'm like, I'm going in for a mug.
Hmm.
Only a mug. Like, you know, when you go to Walmart and you're like, I'm not spending $150 today.
Yeah,
I'm
and then
going in for peanut butter. That's it.
that's it.
Nothing else. And then you leave and you spend $175.
Yeah,
I went in saying, I'm only going to look at the mug.
that's it.
This mug, check it out. Look
Check
at that.
it out.
Beautiful. Turquoise covered mug.
I like that color. You know what? That's always been one of my favorite colors, like a soft sort of. Oh, your wall is the same color, kind of. It blends with the wall a little bit, just a little bit. I know the wall.
This is my father-in-law's house, but
That's beautiful, though. And Sarah said it fits well. That she could have ordered a size up, but it's super sheer, though. Cool.
that's good.
Oh, that's awesome. That is very, very cool. And then Sandy is here. So Sandy just wrapped up. Yeah, Sandy, we were talking about no icing. Everyone should go back and hit the replay if they weren't there
Yeah,
live.
it smells good what I caught.
who is so good. The guy is like magic, you know? He uses hypnotherapy to like sort of, I guess you get to have the life you want. And you know, Tom Cheshire on Burn It Down, Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, he's been doing all these positive parties and he's been teaching us that I feel like it's the same thing that if you can visualize your dreams and you stay in that positive moment, that actually you can tailor make your reality. I don't know. Does
Be
that,
what you want to see. That I say that a lot. Be what you want to see. And it's
right?
yourself too. You have to be what you want for yourself. You can't just wake up tomorrow and be a changed person. You have to make those changes.
Yeah, you have to actually be the one. One of the things, I'm going to do a little kvetching for a minute, like a little venting session.
Go for it.
One of the things that's been really bothering me lately, and if I'm on the rag, I'm like really irritable about it, you know, like it really bothers me more depending on my hormones. Like, but here's the thing. Let me know if you can weigh in here. I feel like you might be able to, but I'm not sure. Everybody on this planet has suffered, knows what it's like to be sad. And usually at least once or twice in every lifespan, if you are blessed enough to live long enough, it's almost like an honor, you will have like even a major thing, like a major medical thing or like a death in the family that just you can't deal with, or bankruptcy, like at least one. A lot of people will get a series of those, right? And so that you why is it that sometimes I know people who will have total, they're so angry, they're so upset, and they're all like everything is always wrong with me. And honestly, objectively, their life seems pretty good. Like when I was in high school, I knew I had a boyfriend and he was like, or an ex-boyfriend, like friend type thing. And I remember he would always be like, oh, like the mail came late today. Like I'm so depressed now. I've got to go. And I'm like, if that's like the worst thing, but I see that playing out. And then I see people who like have lost everything in a disaster, or they've had like a series of, um, you know, we had was, you know, like serious, right. No, but like real issues. And they're kind of just, what is that? And so I get irritable. I'll be honest with you. Like even myself, I don't feel anymore
So
like
one
I
of
can.
my favorite words is curmudgeon.
Yeah. Some people are just curmudgeons.
They're
Thank
just
you.
curmudgeons, and they just want,
Yes.
and they're so down. They're so busy putting themselves down that there's no room for the good people are trying to feed them. You know, like
Right. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to shed some light on you, and you are downing yourself at every step. You also have the
Right.
curmudgeons that can't keep up. I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean we're all different. So whatever it is that you're doing, they may not be very good at it, or it may not be their
Hmm.
thing,
Hmm.
but they're going to bring you down and like you're not doing well because they can't keep up. So you can't
Right.
go ahead of them, even though
Right.
they can do it, right? And we're
Hmm.
also different. And I think
Yeah, we're all different.
people
That's
struggle
true.
with that though. Everybody thinks everybody should think the same, be the same, do the same.
Hmm.
People like that are in the negative. Like it's like they don't comprehend the fact that you and I can have totally different views on 150 things and still be great friends. They can't do
Right.
it.
Right.
And I
Do
can boost you up on my lowest days when nothing's going the way I want it to,
Mhm.
and my career's at standstill and what have you,
Mhm.
and still lift up the people around me because that makes me feel better. Whereas the curmudgeons are going to
Mhm.
step on you to try to keep going.
Right. Yeah, that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. And I'm wondering too if like what I'm trying to I'm trying to have compassion because I know people who are in such dire straits that you would expect them to be freaking out all the time, and they're actually really chill and very positive. They ask me about my life first, like they're not self-indulgent. And then I know people who are just like always irritable and I can't figure it out, and one thing I'm trying to, when you said everyone's different, I'm thinking like, well, maybe everyone just has like a different sized cup and you can fill it and it might look like more or less, but to them, they're full. Like they're at their maximum capacity.
And
Could be anyone.
we all have different thresholds as well
Mm.
into what we can handle, what we can tolerate, and that's from our past
Right.
genealogy, from
Yeah.
DNA. You know, like that is generational and DNA. It's just biological almost. Like you can't. There's some things we can teach ourselves and we can learn over time, and there's some things that are ingrained And that's wherein lies the problem, because
Mm.
most of your curmudgeons are not willing to change.
Right. That's like years, decades. It's the same, like the same
Yeah.
sob story over and over and over again.
Right.
Like, and I'll tell you a weird thing, like Billy Bob Thornton, and I don't know anything about him, but I saw this one clip and it's fine. I like him as an actor, but I remember he had this interview and he was like that he had a brother who died when they were young. And so out of tribute to his brother, he said he doesn't feel he should ever allow himself to get that happy. So whenever he starts to feel himself getting that happy, he pulls it back and finds something to be depressed about, because he said he wants to always honor his brother who left the world earlier. And I was thinking, like, yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of problems with that from my point of view. There's a lot of problems with that. Having lost people that I am absolutely adore, I don't think that's the right way to do a tribute to someone. But regardless, I just felt like I've known other people who use even lesser things than that. I know someone who wore black for like 20 years, and he said, well, his cat died in high school and he can't possibly wear anything but black, they pick like an event that to them is the purest trauma anyone can imagine, and then they tailor their whole lives around that identity. And a lot of them find their integrity in that, and they want to be
Yeah.
they want to be in that state of mourning over that thing that happened.
We pause this broadcast for a moment.
Just for one moment.
Husband,
Where did you get that book, MF Farwell?
check out the outpost today. It's in a pinned post on Cosmos Creative TV Facebook group.
Oh, the Outpost. Is that where we're going to get all of Cosmos Creative merch?
Outpost, yes.
The Outpost on Cos. Okay.
But in honor of the outpost, I wore my lumberjack look today.
It is very outposty. I love it. And I love because you're off the grid. I feel like you should always be dressed like that.
No, I'm at my father-in-law's because, well, we all know I had stuff to deal with today.
Right. So did you want to talk about that a little bit for people to know that you're doing a show? Like I even said to you, I was like, even when we were going to do Journeys, I'm like, we could cancel because of the day you had. Most people, this is what I'm talking about. That there's some kind of weird thing. Like most people would have been like, they had your experience and they would not have done this. And you're like, nope. And you just kept plowing through. So talk about what you did today.
Well, so yesterday. My husband's camping. He's gone all week. So I'm at the house. So I was trying to help do a few of the things that have to be done around the house. Well, one of my chickens got loose and I decided I was going to try to get it. Dumbass idea number one.
Chickens are hard to catch. I will tell you, they're very hard to catch.
So anyways, I fell, of course, and I landed on a flat rock with my hand. So I like hyperextended my thumb and my wrist. And
oh my
I landed in a duck pond, which since it's been so dry, is just like a mud bog.
Oh my gosh.
But my wrist swelled up and I thought, oh, I'm just going to go in and ice it. It'll be fine. It didn't really hurt tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
It did when I did it. I thought, shit, I just broke something. But then I was like, nah, it's fine. No, it wasn't fine. Last night in the middle of the night, it was so bad. So this morning.
Oh no.
I went and got it checked and yeah, I broke it.
What's the pain level like? Your pain level is you have a different threshold. This is why I wanted to talk to you about that topic, by the way, because you typically based on the average, you're always able to tolerate more. I mean, you basically don't sleep, you basically don't eat, you have all kinds of, you talk very openly about different health battles that you've had to survive and that you're still battling right now. And you just keep going. There's no, you know what I mean? You don't use any of those things to hold you back. Like, so I want you to talk about that a little bit.
The first thing I said when I went into the urgent care today was, I cannot gauge an injury on pain tolerance or pain level because my tolerance for pain is extremely high. And the doctor's like, oh, everybody says that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then they did my x-rays and they came back and then she's like, there's 3 fractures, 2 on your wrist and 1 on your thumb. And I go, okay, so now what, right? Like, okay, I accept it. What's next? Like, I've gotten this far, whatever. And then she goes, but I'm having the radiologist look at it because it's really odd and I've not really come across that a whole lot. So his office will contact you later or I will contact you. Well, he called me and said, he's pretty sure I only have one fracture. The other
Mm-hmm.
two fractures are old healed fractures. And he's like, you must have a high pain tolerance because you broke your damn arm twice and didn't even know it.
Mm. Wow.
Yes, so.
Has it
But
always, were you always like that? Or is that something that having so much pain over so many years, like at this point, you're quote unquote used to it? Or were you
um,
always like that? Do you think it's like an,
I think some of it's psychological because Gen X, we were told to rub dirt in it and keep on with our day. Don't be a.
keep calm and carry on kind of thing? Yeah.
So some of it's that. And
Hmm.
then, like, we just learned to not feel.
Right.
Still feel. But a lot of it is from what I've been through. My illness is actually listed as one of the most painful diseases. And so for me, I'm used to it now. This is my life. This is my level. But then when something breaks, it's like the straw that breaks the camel's back. So by injuring my wrist, last night was torture. It's like I felt everything.
Oh, okay.
Learned over time to kind of just deal with and function with. But then when you have something like my wrist being so painful,
Hmm.
and I was more pissed because it was uncomfortable than
Hmm.
I was about the pain. And that's what I said to her. I go, I couldn't move, I couldn't get comfortable. I'm like, it was bad enough I don't sleep, but now I'm like tossing and turning in misery. So fix it.
Well, when I told you that like I'm really empathizing with you because when I told you earlier, I was like, hand pain to me is the worst. For whatever reason, I do have arthritis, so maybe that's part of it. But like for whatever reason, my hands are really sensitive, like really sensitive, sensitive to cold. If I bang it, if I have like a cut on it, it's awful. So like you going through what you're going through right now, honestly, I'm just like, oh, I would be freaking out. I would not be able to do a show. I would have immediately come to you and been like, fuck this, I'm out of here. My life would have gone. See, this is what we're talking about. There's different tolerances. Let me phrase it to you this way, okay? Is there anything that you think you're hypersensitive about that you don't roll with as well as others? Is there anything that's your
Emotionally or physically? Or
maybe,
either.
maybe either because you kind of are an emotional and physical steamroller. You keep going. You're
Well,
Energizer Bunny.
there's a lot of trigger points for me emotionally. Obviously,
Mm,
abuse and violence.
right?
Um, and I'm sensitive in a positive way about redemption and
Mm-hmm.
helping the helpless. And but physically, I cannot stand to be cold.
Right. That I remember
I
that. Yes.
hibernate all winter, and I used to
Okay.
love winter. I used to love snowboarding and snowmobiling, and in fact, last year we sold our snowmobile because I'm like, I'm not going. And he's like, well,
Right.
you're not going, and like I just can't do it. It's so painful. So probably physically that would
Hmm.
be um,
Okay. So you're super sensitive there as opposed to like other people who can tolerate it. See, I think that's good to show because what I'm trying to show people is that look, M is unstoppable. Like Sandy just said, no, M, she's totally unstoppable. That is true, but every Superman has his kryptonite, right?
absolutely.
And so that can encourage other people who always are like, M is such a badass. M is such a badass. I think, yeah, M's a badass, but if it were I guess if it was an Arctic apocalypse, it
Right?
would, no, but
I would not
that's
make it.
encouraging. Yeah, like that's really healthy
I
for
would not
people
make
to,
it.
because people are inspired by you and they admire you. And I think a lot of people would get to a point where they'd say, well, M can do it because she's M, but I can never, you
That's
know what
what
I
happened
mean?
yesterday. So after I
Yeah.
fell and I got in the house, and there was about a million other things that happened that day. Like it was a horrible day. My refrigerator broke. I couldn't get the
Wow.
power
Yeah.
to work correctly because I forgot to reset, and like it was just all this stuff at once. But even
Hmm.
after I fell, I went in, cleaned myself up, and I was gonna just leave it till whoever came home to fix it. And I'm like, oh hell no, I am M.
Yeah. So you
So
did it to
out there right
yourself.
now, and I
You
fixed
did it to
everything, and I
yourself.
ate the damn chicken.
That's kind of funny though. Well, I think, but that way is empowering. Like to
Yeah,
have that, I guess Brandon, the hypnotherapist who was just on No Icing, he was talking about like affirmations and how he kind of got into hypnotherapy because he used to listen to these hypnotherapy tapes that were full of like affirmations. And that's something that I
oh,
do
I
like
believe in that. Yes.
Right. And because you're shaping your reality. So you telling yourself, this is my guess, you telling yourself like, hey, no, someone else might not be able to do this, but I'm M. Like I've got that to live up to. I've got to live up to the M level. That actually probably is, the mind body connection. That probably is empowering you physically as well, right? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And people know when I'm at my lowest because that's when I like reach out to everybody. I'm giving positive messages. I'm sending
Right.
energy. I'll call everybody or I'll text everybody or what have you because I'm feeling pretty fucking shitty. And
Yeah, that's
so
the thing you do that other people don't know about.
if I
Yeah.
can't lift myself up, I'm going to lift everybody else up around me because their joy then becomes what's surrounding me. Like I have to smile because look at all these people I love and they're happy right now and they're
Right.
feeling gratitude that somebody reached out, and it's like that fuels me. It
Yeah,
absolutely.
see, that fuels you. And that's another thing that I have, like, is this pet peeve right now that I wanted to talk with you about, which is um, people holding other people back because they get jealous. And I think my screen froze, right? But I'll fix that in a
Hey,
second.
it's perfect time for another Cosmos
Why don't
commercial.
we do that? And I'll log out and I'll be right back in. I'll be right back.
Get
I just
all your Cosmos merch at the Outpost. It's pinned. The link is pinned to the top of the Cosmos group page. We can talk about Renee, everybody. Who's got any dirt on Renee while she's gone? Dish it out. Dish it out in the comments. I'm ready. Totally kidding.
all right, let's try that. I didn't get to see what you said.
I said we can dish it out on Renee now. Anybody got any secrets?
Oh man, no, don't. Okay, I'm working. No, I really want to do this because I've been wanting to have this talk for like this talk for a while, and I want because it's going to inspire other people. Okay, so I wanted to talk about how some people are like hypersensitive, and it aggravates me because then other people have lost everything they have, and they're like bounding around with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like figure that out because not because I'm trying to judge other people, but I'm also trying to do that for myself. I want to make sure I'm not one of those people who is freaking out every time things don't go my way, because I feel like sometimes I can do that. I can definitely get into that pity party shit pretty quickly. So I'm also trying to figure out why people like you don't engage in that. Clearly that doesn't hold you back, like that's something that's a barrier to progress. So you're kind of winning the race, I feel like. And I don't want people to think it's just luck all the time. You're actually dealing with a lot of very serious things. You have dealt with serious things, but it's like you're choosing to not let that control you, and you wish well on others. I
I
did a
just
post the
don't
other day
want
about misery loving
my
company, and
end of, when it's the end of my days, and I like to tell everybody I'm going to die when I'm 124.
yes, let's
But
do it.
when it comes to the end of my days, let's face it, a couple generations out, they don't remember you. Nobody's remembering
Right.
you. But the things you did and the ripple effect you had in people's lives is going to spread. Look at how much I've grown and shared with all of you, like my dad's wisdom. He had
Right.
so much wisdom. And I share that all the time. So that's my dad's legacy. So when I leave, I don't want people to be like, and I just wrote a blog post and I said this in it, paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but I don't want people, when I'm gone, I don't want people to be like, oh no, that was M. She's the one that was always sick.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I get
I
that.
don't want that to be my identity, and I don't want it to be my legacy.
Right, right. It becomes your narrative, and that's what people see you as, is you're
Yeah.
that person. And every now and then, like if you're Helen Keller, that really does make sense because she was a pioneer and she really leveraged that, and she carved out this whole new path. So I don't think we should take away, right? We're not taking away from people who do that because they have something that they're really pushing. But that wasn't your story though. So don't
Right.
allow it, because it just
Helen
wasn't. There were
Keller,
other things that you are passionate
Helen
about.
Keller's story, that was her legacy. Like that is all she lived for.
Right.
That was her passion.
Right.
So, but for me, my illness is not my, it's not who I am. It has
Right.
nothing to do with what I do. It's like a totally separate
Mhm.
freaking.
Do you
Well,
identify yourself? Like I was
someone that
thinking,
goes in the corner and likes to rear its ugly head every once in a while.
right, yeah, that's true. But what would your advice be for people who maybe are hypersensitive, or maybe they even think it's a good thing, like, well, I'm just paying attention, if because I hear that, like, people say, well, if you're not upset all the time, you're not really paying attention, or maybe you're getting all the breaks, like you just haven't gone through what I've gone through. And that's true. Nobody has gone through what someone
Nobody
else has
has
gone through.
an insight into somebody else, right?
Hmm.
I think so. A lot of people will say, because I will be like direct and clear, and
Yeah,
that's it, and I can move on.
that's the way
That
you are.
doesn't
Yes.
mean that I don't have feelings and I don't
Hmm.
feel that stuff, because I believe you have to ride the wave of your feelings. We do not control our emotions. We control how we handle them.
Hmm.
So if I'm feeling sad and kind of miserable, I'm gonna sit there and be like, this sucks. And then something will click, and then I'll be like, I'm gonna call so and so, or I'm gonna send out some
Yeah.
positive
Hmm.
messages, or I'm gonna send out some smile mail, or I'm gonna go order so and so some snacks or a treat or a surprise, and that lifts me up out of where I am.
Hmm.
So
Right.
a lot of times we don't want to feel. We don't want to feel it,
That's
or we want to feel it, but there are people who want to feel it, and the whole world has to feel it with them. So it's public,
mhm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
that's, to me, that just would add to my anxiety of
Me
not feeling
too.
well. If I'm
Mhm.
already down and now everybody around me is getting anxious and down,
Mhm.
I just, it's too much. It's too much. I don't
Right.
feel responsible that now they're all feeling down, because it
It
started.
just yeah, it just makes your experience all the more overloaded, and you're not able to really, like, I
Yeah,
get that.
I
That makes
talked in my
sense.
blog, this last blog I wrote, everybody sees me through rose tinted glasses.
Mhm.
I'm the one that gave them those glasses by being okay all the time.
Being okay, choosing to be okay even when you're not okay, right? Like even when you're in the mud of the duck pond
In
and
the
you're breaking all of your yeah.
no wheelchair, no.
Right, yeah. Well, I see people in war zones, or you see people in Maui who have lost everything, and you see that, and you see.
Exactly.
And I say, what would I be like? Because like if I'm at the DMV too long, like I get so irritable and I get hangry, and it's like my world is ending. And I'm like, dude, like there's people who have gone through so much worse and they're handling it so much better.
And
So
I think some
yeah.
of it's wisdom and age as well. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm older, and like today when I was in the urgent care and I had to go to the X-ray and everything, and she was like, "You're so calm. Like, I know this.
Yeah.
Hell, your hand is like 3 times the size of
Yeah.
mine."
Uh-huh.
And I go, because I know if I allow myself to go there fully,
Hmm.
that I'm going to go in a full flare, because stress is the numero uno thing that awakens the dragon in my life, and then it's over. Like, I am
Yep.
just down for the count. And so I've had to learn to feel what I need to feel and to advocate, but at the same time,
Hmm.
I just let them do their job. I wasn't needed. So I could literally like step outside of the situation and just be like, you guys do what you're doing, get your x-rays, do this. And I'm kind of checked out. Like,
But you also have training too. So like yet another piece of this puzzle is that you've also had training. And maybe talk. Not everyone knows that, I don't think. Talk a little bit about your medical background.
so, well, I worked in the ER, I worked in the ambulance, I've worked in memory care, I work with a lot of veterans. I've also done a lot of volunteer work. My husband and I both did volunteer work, like with battered women, and helping. We were like a link in the chain to get them to safety. I can say that now because we're no longer doing that for obvious reasons. I can't do that. But and I worked in the ER. I was the crisis. So if somebody came in that was a rape victim or an abuse, or they couldn't get somebody to talk and something happened, I would be the one that would go in. So yeah, I've had some training, but I really feel like my parents grew up in really abusive homes, really abusive homes. But yet And they weren't perfect. We didn't have a lot of supervision. I'm telling you right now, there was not a lot of supervision in my house. However, I don't think my dad was not one to waste words because he had really bad PTSD. So he wasn't around a lot. I mean, he was home. He just was in his garage or working 2 jobs or, you know, he wasn't present, is what I should say, because it was PTSD. When I was a kid, I didn't understand why, but now as an adult, I understand why he couldn't be present. But he didn't waste words, and he was also the most content man. I mean, my parents did not have much. He was the most content man. I have never in my life, still to this day, met somebody who never wanted more than what he had in front of him. Ever. He had no he enjoyed right in those moments. He had no plans of what he was going to buy next or which car he was wanting to get or, oh, the neighbor's got a new house. We got to put siding on ours or, he was never any of that at all. And so I think some of that, that shapes you too, because I went from both extremes with the,
Right.
and I mean, I've written about my grandmother's house and stuff like that and all the things that happened there, but it does shape you. That's the other thing when we talk about people and having different, it drives me insane when I'm explaining a situation and then somebody else is explaining the situation. And even though there's similarities and it seems like that they're almost synchronized, our lives were pretty, synchronized. In reality, we are all capable of understanding, tolerating, learning from, growing with different thresholds. So what I can handle and learn and grow from, I like to walk through the fire. That's just how I learn.
Right.
And I don't like to be afraid. We've had that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So if something's making me nervous or upsetting or whatever, I got to go, I'm marching through because I want to be done with it. Like, I don't want it sitting there and stewing and those icky feelings.
Right. What makes somebody, this is the question I've been wrestling with. What makes somebody undergo a traumatic event and turn out stronger and more compassionate and more balanced as a human? And then, there's a certain segment that have the exact same experience and then they become the curmudgeon and also an abuser themselves,
Yeah,
and
my uncle
it's
never
okay.
escaped his childhood. My uncle,
Okay.
he never escaped his childhood. He just never did. He was not a good human being as a man. I mean, he was good to all of us, don't get me wrong, but he was not a good person. And he just never escaped his childhood. So it's
Right.
like,
So there's an event that you cling to and you almost sort of put it on as a cloak. And now this is your identity. This is what you're always thinking about.
again, I think it goes back to just a lot of it, I think, is DNA. Like, I just think we have different thresholds from what we're capable of handling. Generational stuff, because the way my parents maybe handled when I said something, even just the tone of their voice could have been different than how it was handled with him. I mean, I just I was not very old when I decided that I was a few things. One, I was going to do what I wanted to do, and I was going to be assertive. I was not going to be afraid. I would never live in fear again because I was afraid. And I never wanted to be so high up that I couldn't see my friends below me. I wanted everybody to go with me, right? So I wasn't very old when that all started because that was my protection based on things that happened in my childhood, So I was like, I will never be afraid again. And I didn't care who it was or how tall they were or if they were my elder or if it was my grandfather. I had boundaries even as a teenager, and I would literally say, you're not doing that when I'm here because I'll leave. I'm not going to have that in my presence. Like, I didn't use the word boundary because that really wasn't how we
Yeah,
worded
that
it.
wasn't a thing back then. Yeah.
But I definitely did. Do you think? And that's the other thing. A lot of what holds the curmudgeons back is fear and I'm the opposite. And we're all different when it comes to fear. We talk about stage fright even, and how for me, I just flip things around in my head. But not everybody can. And so we have to be compassionate. And you can't say, oh, well, M, you know, broke her arm and she's doing cartwheels on the trampoline. Why can't you?
Right.
Like,
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
do
That's a
that
really
in
good point.
life because we just all
Mhm.
have different tolerance and different histories that we bring to the table, and we all just handle things and different diagnoses. Like there, how many adults, especially Gen X and before, had things like autism or Asperger's or some kind of a spectrum related,
Mhm.
you know, thing going on, disorder, and we didn't have those diagnoses back then. So
Mhm.
they were just doing their best to make it in the world, you know. I mean,
Right.
you didn't know somebody when they were younger where they, oh, that's the odd one. They're just odd. No, they're not
Right.
odd. They need
Mhm.
help, you know. Like
Yeah, that's right. No, that's really true.
it's
Well,
like
what are the things that frighten you though? Because I always mean to ask you that and I always forget.
what frightens me.
Mhm.
So I don't. What frightens me is I don't. I'm afraid of intentionally, but not intentionally hurting people. Meaning that I know deep down because I'm smart that this is probably going to hurt somebody, but the rational side of my head, the irrational side of my head is like, fuck it. But then
Mhm.
after, I'm going to feel like shit. So
Right. Yeah.
I'm assertive and I'll be direct, but I don't want to hurt people. And I
Mhm.
absolutely 100% believe in second chances. And the other
Mhm.
thing that I'm afraid that I fear is lack of change, like our future, like people just still living in the same
Mhm.
thing, or the cycle in my family getting continued, or, you know, just not evolving. And
Mhm.
that's fucking scary.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing I'm afraid of is not being able to be independent because of my illness. Like when I fell in the duck pond, there's nobody else,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm in the duck pond. I trudged my way out of there somehow. If
That's
only
awful.
I
That's
go
really
think,
awful.
I'm like, of course it's after you remove the
Mhm.
game cam. We could have had film of all of it.
Yeah.
But
See, but
no.
you'll laugh about it, but I know people really, and there are different things that I've struggled with where like if it depends on the day and it depends on the year and whatever, but there are many times where I would have ended up in a duck pond and I would have been like really not in a great mood for at least 48 hours and I would have been pitying myself
Well, I was
and
pretty fiery. I had talked to Sarah
okay,
that day,
okay.
and I was like, "This is my fucking day. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
you're not gonna believe this day I'm having." And that
Some
was
days are like, yeah.
my arm, you know.
And I wonder about bad days like that. And I wonder, like, if we frame it like the positive mental attitude or even the hypnotherapy that Brandon was talking about, like, I'm wondering if one of the reasons why bad things keep happening in a series is because after the first one, maybe we're weakened and we're already predisposed to sort of like expect the worst or whatever. Like, by the time the third most horrible thing happens in that same day, that's now your confirmation bias. That's all you can see, or you
What do
just
we do
expect
when
it.
we're kids? When a friend or a neighbor or a family member died, they'd always be like, "I wonder who's next." It always happens in threes. Like,
Right. Hmm.
what the hell? As a kid, you're like, "I hope it's not me.
Yeah. I love that.
I hope it's not me. I hope I'm not one of the three." Everybody pack up, get in your bubbles. There's two more to go.
Okay, well, David David like he's in the show. He has a lot to say here, but he wanted us to talk a little bit about that thing where like if you he said, I mean, you can look at somebody who's a paraplegic who's successful in life and decide based on that you suck at overcoming your challenges, like, and that makes you just feel more dysfunctional. So I guess it's like when we get into the comparison thing, which is sort of like what I was edging up on without trying with I'm
Yes.
trying not to do that, but I'm trying to figure out for myself, why is it like when I am inconsolable with stress, like in the DMV, because I don't know when I'm going to leave. I don't know the germs that are around me. I'm like annoyed. Like I'm just so irritated. There's forms and shit.
Yeah.
And I'll say to me and myself in the moment, I'll be like, how would I survive Ukraine right now? Like, come on, like they're living in a tunnel with their family and they're in a better mood than I am at that moment. And I kind of feel like, why? Because I want to harness that. And then I think of M, and that's why I'm asking her to sort of like weigh in here, because you're probably the person we think of the most. When we think of that, I guess, is it resilience? Is that the word that we're looking? Is it a resilient attitude?
I don't know. And listen, it doesn't just come easy. Like David's talking about, just do it. I just did it yesterday because nothing worked, and I was in the duck pond, and I couldn't get the chicken. I couldn't get the power started. But guess what? I just did it.
Well,
I went back out, and it took me forever, but I did it.
Well, no, but people have said that, and I've said that too. And you're saying it from your point, David. It's not. I don't think it's comparing struggles, but it's inspirational. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes, who was it who said? Ed Sheeran said recently. He said he never allowed himself a plan B because then he knew he wouldn't do it. He said he forced himself where he had no option but to make money doing music, and that was when he started making money doing music. And so he said, please don't have a plan B. You have to just do it. You know, there's the Nike slogan, but I think what Em is talking about, it's not about judging people or saying, oh, you guys are weak if you're not doing what I'm doing. Like, I don't see that at all. I see it as an inspiration where you can tap into that attitude and see things change in your own life because you're refusing, you keep your eye on the ball. You don't keep your eye everywhere else. A good batter is just going to look, you just keep your eyes on the prize. Like she said, she had no choice. Like,
how about we all just worry about our own business?
That would be the best case scenario, right?
Wow. That doesn't mean that we're not caring and we're not a part of the community and we're not a part of the world. It just means my integrity is not affected by the choices you make. Like, I'm not questioning my integrity because you did something different than I did. Right?
Right.
Like, you made a different choice than I've made. That's fine. Let's see how it plays out. Which one of us made the right choice? Let's figure it out and then have a good laugh with you, or cry, or whatever has to happen. But we don't have to compete with one another.
It's not a competition. What I'm trying to do, and David, because this really hit David, what we're talking about, and I understand it, because if I were saying what you thought, David, like, I get it too. I'm not comparing struggles, but I like to find out reasons why some people are able to thrive in a highly acidic environment. It's like, why do some plants survive in these Arctic regions, or they can grow out of a sidewalk? That type of resilience and power, because I need to be able to tap into it. I do, like, for medical reasons, I need to be able to, for just my own peace of mind, I need to be able to, for me, I'm just looking at myself. I need to be the type of person who doesn't freak out and lose a whole day because whatever, I had to do something I didn't want to do or whatever. Like, one of my triggers happened that was like, there's certain things that I don't like.
My life ain't all fucking sunshine and roses. Let me tell you, first of all, like, there is literally a picture of me that went into spit it out, Melissa. It went into like a local newspaper, and I was in tears sitting on the ground outside of DMV because this was during COVID.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Story? And I was really sick, but I had to get done what I needed to do.
Had to.
Run out of time. I needed to do it. So I had to go. And so I parked in the handicap spot right in front of the door. And I said, can I just wait in my car? I'll take my spot, and then I'll just wait in my car. And the security guard said, no, you have to wait in line. And I didn't have my chair or nothing, so I couldn't stand there that whole time.
Yep,
so
exactly.
And I sat there, and I was in tears. And this guy came by, and he took my picture, and he said, I'm going to send this in, because that was absolutely the most ignorant, ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Exactly. It's awful. Like, you feel...
Go in and get me a chair.
Yeah.
I couldn't go in, so I couldn't go get a chair. I couldn't sit in my car.
It's insult to injury. It's insult to injury. Like,
so,
it just...
But here's what I do after. Yeah, I'm pissed, I'm sad. And mostly it's anger, and that comes out as sadness in those moments. And it's also being let down. I was just let down by my own community, right? Like we live in the same community and you just let me down. But it's also the matter of after the fact, I say to myself, is there anything that happened that I could have done differently? Because I don't want that person to have power over me like that. So maybe that's some of it, and the perseverance and the resilience is the fact that I will go back and look at any situation, even if it had that situation should not have happened and I was not responsible for that situation. However, there are probably things if I go back and look that I could do differently next time so something like that doesn't happen again.
Right. Yeah,
That's what
that's
makes
helpful.
situations. Some people can't question themselves. They can't do it. Like they're just, there's black and white and that's it. And so,
Yeah, I think you're onto something. And I've been thinking about your dad's quote a lot that he never grew old because he never stopped learning. And another thing that's been at the forefront of my consciousness is about how some I figured it out. There's only one character trait I really can't work with. And I've dealt with murderers. I've dealt with like I don't like I really can work with anyone. But I figured it out. It's people who are stubborn and they're not self-aware, like they're just stubborn. They want to do, they've always done something like this, so they're going to keep doing it no matter who it hurts. Or they're like the they just, or they want to like tick something right, like get credit for something even though it's actually hurting everyone. Like for example, let's say that someone says I'm an honest person, I'm an honest person, but then you're in the Holocaust and you're hiding a family that has the Gestapo coming after them. You're going to lie, you're going to lie. But the type of person I'm talking about, and there were so many of them, there were millions of them. The Allies made the villagers around Auschwitz come and like bury the bodies to punish them, to say, look, you were right next to it and you didn't speak up. But they wanted to adhere to their laws, right? Most people will be the way that I'm talking, and it's very hard to deal with them because you'll make an argument and they just say yeah but, and they read the script again,
oh, yeah,
and
but
you're in a loop, and now the person's not even listening, and they're going to say the same thing. You could spend an hour and a half so you're blue in the face. You walk out of that conversation and they are totally the same. You have had zero impact no matter what you said.
and
That
those are
type of
situations
personality
that
type
you and
bothers the
I,
shit out of me.
we talk about this a lot because you have grown immensely over the last year with those situations
Thank you
because
for noticing.
you
Thank you.
are not responsible for their emotions and behavior.
I had to learn that, man.
If
I had to
they've
learn
done
that.
something wrong and you have to address it,
Hmm.
it's a sucky feeling. I tell people this all the time. I don't know why you want to be a leader if you aren't
Hmm.
willing to deal with this shit because that's what being a leader is. It sucks.
Right. Hmm.
It sucks. It's not always the place.
Well, or another thing too that we've had to tell people, and I saw it again as just a meme online today, but it's like if you get successful or happy in life, just expect for a lot of people to start trying to tear you down. So when people come to me and say, well, I can't do this anymore because people are jealous, they're trying to ruin me. And I say, okay, well then just suck at everything and have everyone happy with you. I mean, that's because it goes with the territory. The more successful you are, the happier you are, the stronger your relationships. Other people get jealous or whatever it is, and or it's homeostasis. They want to bring you back down to that center. Nobody likes extremes. They don't want to be around people who are down on their luck, and they don't want to be around people who everything is always so great. People get annoyed. They always want everyone in the middle, right? So you don't have a choice. If you're going to be successful and happy, you're going to piss a bunch of people off. You don't have
Absolutely.
any other way around it.
And the thing is, for me, I think everybody knows I love people. I love learning about people. I love learning
Yeah,
about their
me
lives.
too.
I like learning about their
Mhm.
bad things, the good things. What can I do to help you? Tell me about that. I've never heard of that. Like I love it, love it. However, I'm also not afraid to let somebody walk out of my life if they don't want to be there. Like
Right.
some people will, oh, I've got to fix it. I got to get this person back. I got to do this. I got to call them. but I don't do that. If we're having a disagreement or a situation where like you were saying, somebody whose mind you're never going to change, and philosophically, you guys are totally opposed. Like it's just never going to be,
Mhm.
they're never going to even just sit in that middle ground and not discuss those subjects.
Right. Right.
Right?
Yeah.
They can't do
Mhm.
it. They can't do it because they got to get you on their side. So it's
Yep.
toxic, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. If you walk out of my life, and that was our situation, I'm not chasing you. I'm okay with that. I'm quite comfortable. I believe we attract the people that are good for us in our lives. And if we're attracting bad, negative things, there's something we're doing and we need to change it. We have a lesson
Yeah.
we need to learn. You're not
Mhm.
responsible for them being a abuser or
Mhm.
toxic or jerk or whatever,
Mhm.
narcissist. You're not responsible for that, but you are
Mhm.
responsible for allowing it into your life now that you recognize it.
Right.
There's people in those situations who don't even recognize they're in them because
Mhm.
that's been their whole life. That's the norm for them from the time they were a child.
And
Chaos.
this is why things like this is why when you were talking about independence, I want to say this particularly to women because um, choices really do matter, and the ability of being independent really matters, particularly for women who grew up under this patriarchal system of not being able to get credit cards in certain eras and all this stuff. I want to say this because I have a friend of a friend who yesterday met my mutual friend and her husband. When he met the husband, he was appalled. The husband was so abusive and had all these radical views that were very offensive. And so when he got time to talk to the wife alone, he said to her, "How are you okay? How are you living with this?" And she said, "I just can't afford to go through a divorce. I have no options. This is my life." She said,
Oh,
I never was
Brittany,
independent.
she was put into the child marriage and
Hmm.
she had no clue in
Had
her.
no,
She grew up very sheltered and she had no idea that she could leave. Like she didn't
right,
even know how to leave. She didn't know there was a way to leave. She didn't know you could leave. Like,
right.
yeah, we have a long way to go still with that. Still
A
with that.
lot of women, even women who are very progressive and very confident, I will see them, enter relationships and not, they're the supporters. They put all of everything in, and if that person leaves, or if the woman wants to leave, she doesn't feel that she can, literally. And that's not the only story I've heard like that. If anything, I think it's extremely
Well, I
common.
say that about David and I. People are like, "How have you guys stayed married so long?" And I'm like, "Because we absolutely know that we love each other and respect each other. Because both of us could be living on our own
Your
easily.
your life, your
We
material
don't
life would
need
not
each other.
crumble to the
I mean, we
ground.
need each
And
other in an emotional sense, but we
right,
don't
yeah.
need each other. Fudge. We
Sorry, be careful. She's actually injured right now. She just got back from urgent care. Just in case anyone was wondering.
what's she doing? We don't need each other though. Like we need each other emotionally, spiritually, because we love each other that sense. But
Right.
if something happened to one or the other, we would be able to function on our own. So that means every day when I get up, I know David's there because he fucking chooses to be there.
Hmm.
He
Yeah.
chose me.
Right.
He knows the same thing. So
Mhm.
that's that's everything, right? Women
Mhm.
need to be able to have a sense of independence. And that is changing drastically. It changed with my daughter's
Mhm.
generation. But
Yep.
now look at like Linda Rose and Lily Mae's generation.
Right. They're going to be totally, I'm hoping that they're going to inspire
Yeah.
all those generations, because I'll tell you why. Women always said to me from when I was like very young, even in my teen years, older women would pull me aside and say, "Well, honey, the only advice I'll give you is make sure you're always financially independent." And I would always say, "Oh, but I wouldn't be with a guy that I couldn't trust to." And it's not like they would say, "Honey, it's not about that. It's not about trust or whatever. It's like you don't even know if he'll die. You don't know if he'll get a disease. Like you have to bet on yourself no matter what. You have to bet on yourself and you have to make sure you're okay." And then it's like what you're talking about with the dynamic with David is that then you can actually trust why the person is there. It's not true that every long relationship is a healthier relationship. People have to stay. They don't have options. They might not have emotional
That happens
options, or
a
medical
lot more than
options.
people think.
Almost like all the time, people will say that, and they have
Especially in
to
an
stay.
abusive
You know.
situation, because when you have an abuser who is decades have gone by and they have honed their skills, their spouse, male, female, whoever, their spouse is now programmed that they can't live without them.
Right, right.
They're a piece of shit. They don't matter. They don't. They'll never be anything. Nobody loves them. Nobody wants them because they've cut them off from everybody.
Right, but it's not about love. See, a lot of people think that's
No,
love. That's the opposite. That's slavery.
absolutely the
It's like,
opposite.
she can't live without me. And it's like, okay, you don't understand what you're saying. That's not a compliment. And it's not for the reasons you think. Even people trick
I
themselves.
wouldn't want to
People
live
trick
without
themselves.
David, but I could live without David.
Right, yeah.
Right?
And that's the compliment. That's the love, is that you're a full human being. You bring a full human to that relationship. You're not there asking him to,
And maybe
because,
that's the answer to your question from the beginning: is that
okay,
they're not fulfilled. They're not full. Their plates
they're
aren't full.
not fulfilled and they're looking for that completion, which is like,
Finishing a
I don't
puzzle
need,
and they're missing a piece.
right, right. And that's a lot of pressure to put on another human being. And it also, you're trying to tailor make them in your expectation, you know, that's really damaging. That's like
But
you don't love them. You're trying to change them into like an image of yourself, which is not, that's not
I
loving
think we're
somebody.
like magic people, and you talk about me like I'm all this stuff, but you're the same
You
way. You do the same thing. You have illnesses you battle. You've had family stuff going on.
right, yeah, that's true.
And you're working every show. You're like making people smile,
Mhm.
and you're like doing everything that you can
Thank
do.
you.
And so you're doing it to yourself, right? You're
Mhm.
not recognizing that in yourself. How do we expect other people to recognize it in us if we don't even know it
It
exists?
has to start with us. Like
And
we
that
have
doesn't mean you have to be
no.
cocky, and it doesn't
No.
mean you have to be egotistical or chauvinistic.
Mhm.
It just means that you're okay no matter what their opinion is of you. Like, this is who I am, and this is what I do. And that's why I would say integrity is far more important to me than reputation. I don't give a rat's ass what you think about me.
Right,
I
yeah.
care what I think about me. I care, do I feel like I'm being a good person? Am I being the type of person I want to be in this
Mhm.
world? Or am I letting other situations or people or um, like illness and stuff coming at me, negatives, define who I'm going to be? Because
Right.
I
And
don't
that's
want
very
that. I don't
dangerous.
want
That's
that.
very dangerous. And I'm going to take a guess that David doesn't do that to you and that you don't do that to him.
No.
Right. See, so many toxic or unhealthy
Even
relationships,
I go on
the
individual. David's on
opposite.
vacation right now. He's been on vacation for a week. I just got back from Florida. I was on vacation for a week. So,
Mhm.
like, there's absolutely zero energy.
Right.
Like, there's
Right. And that comes from having that healthy balance, I think. And too many people are not there. And I'm seeing it really ruin lives. I'm aware of people in my orbit
yeah.
who are suffering, who want to be free. Lily May had a good
Yeah, I
statement right
saw what
now.
she wrote.
The
I
the
was going to say,
economy.
in
Yeah.
regards to that, is
Hmm.
it's never going to be, no matter what generation you're in, everybody had issues, especially if you were a woman. Our parents couldn't have, my mom couldn't have a checking account without my dad's name on it. Like, there was no, so if you were in an abusive relationship, you couldn't even hide money. Like, there was just, to get out, there was nothing. But we're not just talking about financially, Lily, when we're talking about it. We're talking about, like, when we say like financial independence, meaning you have a means to make money on your own. You have a passion, you have an education, you have whatever it is you need to feel fulfilled and be able to have a complete life, independent. Like, maybe independent isn't the word, but without being codependent. So maybe you don't have to be 100% independent, but you can't be codependent because you're just never, it's not, if you go into a relationship and you're both codependent, you're doomed from the start.
Yeah, because codependence is not love. It's not a healthy attachment. It's something that you're going to
Sounds
bring
like a
into every
competition.
Yeah. And when I would see in college, I would meet girls
Speaking
and
of
some of them would,
competition, have you seen these mugs?
oh, do you want to look at that? Yes.
Totally kidding.
Let's put it back. No, I wanted to say some women still laugh about going to, they'll say, that I went to college to get my MRS degree. And I was like, what is your MRS degree? Yeah, you're Mrs. Like, you're just looking for a husband. You're not even there because you care about education. And they would brag about that. I mean, that's my generation, which is not the youngest, but it's like, really? Like, that's your whole aim in life is just, and then what
Which I
happens?
don't have a problem. If you want to be a domestic, what do they call them,
Mhm.
domestic engineer, I love that. If you want to be a domestic engineer, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom,
Right.
bravo. That's one of the toughest jobs anybody can have. Awesome. I
Right.
will send you all the positivity and blessings I can because Lord have mercy. But if that's the job you're passionate about and you love it and you have the means to do that, then do it. Because we're talking about being fulfilled with yourself before you try to add other people or fulfill other people's cups and dreams and hopes, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's just, look, there's no perfect scenario. There's no magic cure. There's no answer. Like everybody's always looking for the answer to life, right? Like
Yeah.
movies and stuff, they're always after the answer to life. Why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
There's no magic answer. And what
Mhm.
works for me isn't going to work for you. But like you sitting here praising me, and in my head, I'm thinking every word you just said, 20 of us in this comment section could say about you.
That
But
I
you
didn't even see any of that. See,
feel it.
that's an educational moment for me. Seriously, that's a teaching moment for me because I would, and I'll
So
watch it back and I'll try to picture that. That's good for my confidence. Thank you for telling me that.
you just have to
I have to own it. Is I
listen.
think
You
maybe
busted your ass to get where you are. Why can't you own it?
right, right. I
Somebody
would
said
expect
to me,
someone else to own it, so I'm holding myself to a different standard. That's a little weird.
one day I caught myself saying, "Oh, I'm so excited about something," and then I didn't bring it up because I didn't want to seem like I had it all and
Yeah, yeah.
my life was perfect. And then I was like, wait a minute, I busted my ass to get that.
Hmm.
I earned that.
And it models
That
behavior for
comes
other
in life
people.
to be able to own it.
Yes, and that teaches other people to own it. Like LR is going to watch you and she'll learn to do that. I'll watch you and I learn how to do it. So you're also benefiting other people. You don't do it for that reason, but it has a positive effect on all of society when we
And
act that
you're
way.
doing it.
Right. Yep. Sometimes you have to force it, guys. If you know,
There
just
is a
start getting
fine
to that
line.
habit.
There's a fine line between assertive and independent and confident
Right. Mm-hmm.
and aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
bitchy, or whatever
Yeah.
word.
Yeah. There is a line. I think you
Fine
know it when
line.
you. Yeah.
So
I think you know it. You can feel
listen,
it in the moment.
anytime a woman gets a little over eager, she's
Mhm.
bitchy, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
God forbid,
Mm.
you might actually be right in that situation.
Okay.
Just the other night, I was like, oh, and that's why women should grow up.
That's right. Yes. I wanted to say while Lily May's still here, so Orchid Times season 3 is going to be on Tardan Media for like is it October? What's the launch? The premiere is October. Hmm. I'm blanking on it, but if Lily's here, she'll tell us. But it's coming up. And we're gonna have LR and Lily May on to promote that at some point, right?
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And then so we're scheduling that right now, guys, so they can talk a little bit about that. And then spam. You want to talk about what you
Spam's
have?
before that. So spam
Mhm,
will be the month of September. Spam
mhm,
stands for Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. We're again raising money for NAMI. October 4th for OT. She just put it.
okay, thank you.
Raising money for NAMI, which is the National Alliance for Mental Illness. And there's so many good things happening. We have some amazing guests coming on. We have Natasha coming back and Brittany coming back. We have Jim Martell coming back to talk about his Operation Way of Light with the veterans. We have a couple new people who have amazing stories of hope. Really phenomenal people. And then we're ending with a positive exit little thing with Julian and Tom Cheshire.
I mean, it doesn't get better than that, right? And it's so
How
cool.
can
So
you
then,
end
and
on a positive note? Because it's such a heavy
mhm,
topic, but there is light
yeah,
at the end of the tunnel. So let's leave everybody with that light instead of last year we left with that
right. Yeah.
oppression.
Now it's gonna have that hopeful feel, and then that runs right into Orchid Time season 3. So I think it's like full to the runway.
Yeah.
And that'll be uplifting, of course. We know the girls
And
are always
of
very, very
course, we're
uplifting.
doing it with SDF again. It's a collaboration. This one's called
Mhm.
60 Seconds of Hope.
Yes.
And what we're challenging people to do is in the month of September, every day, take 60 seconds, 1 minute, and just reach out to someone, whether it's a text or a call, or you go stop and see somebody, or you help somebody pick up their groceries, whatever. Like for 60 seconds out of your day to reach out to somebody and let them know they matter. And then other ways you can help is Bethy's coordinating performers throughout the month, like we did last year. They're gonna, give a positive, uplifting performance, and Bethy can schedule those if anybody wants to do one. And then we have, of course, Ro almost every day does her Music is Medicine. We always put that on the calendar for Spam Month. And then we have the videos. If anybody would like to make a positive message video, like a message of hope or support, 60 seconds or less video clip, send it in, and we're going to schedule them throughout the month like we did last year. This year we're focusing on hope and the light, if you can keep pushing.
Right. Yeah. And it's so great because if you're someone who's ever experienced, like I was saying on one of the other shows, it's unfortunate, but it's very rare, I think, to know someone who hasn't been indirectly impacted or even in their immediate circle impacted by mental health and mental health.
Right.
I don't know how to say that, but crises and things like suicide. And we have to come together and we have to be able to be there for one another. So like the 60-second thing that you talked about, and to have that hope and to
So
carry that
easy,
hope
60
forward,
seconds. That's
you
why
know?
because it's like 60 seconds is
Right, right. And Jay Thompson just said, I'm probably going to schedule a forum to happen after the Jam Fest for spam. So there we go. That's another
perfect.
event.
Perfect. Let me know. Put
So
it down. So if anybody would
absolutely.
like to help or be a part of any of it,
Hmm.
give us a holler. We'll get you in there, get you helping out. Journeys is doing the stuff, but there are some other shows. We got Tom Cheshire's Positive Parties on Mondays. That's on the calendar. A couple other people are tossing around what they want to do for ideas, but their shows are probably going to be geared around hope and support and positivity, good stuff. Like we can do this. So
Yeah, we can do
anybody
this.
who wants to help will be able to help, and just reach out to me or Bethy, and we'll get you coordinated.
Awesome. This is great. Well, I'm sorry that Corey wasn't able to make it. We're going to reschedule him on another Journeys, but I
Say a
thought
prayer
let's
just in case, because I don't
say a
know.
prayer that he's doing okay. And then what's going on this weekend on Cosmos? I'm never good with the weekend schedule.
I am not
Somebody
either.
knows.
Wait, no. So we have. I don't know what we have this weekend.
I don't know either, but
Now the only thing I can think of is Drunkles on Friday, and that's SDF.
Drunkle. So go to, yes. So SDF every single.
Jamie just had hers, so that wouldn't.
Right, yeah. So we usually don't schedule on Friday because Drunkles goes from about 5, is it, until maybe 11 or even late night.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Oh, but David just said there's Jam Fest Saturday. This Saturday? I didn't know that. Okay. There's Jam Fest this Saturday.
Oh, Jam Fest is this Saturday. Oh,
I think so. I think that's what he's saying. So.
Excellent.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, Jam Fest, is that 19?
Wow.
How is that possible? How is that even possible? Oh, okay. So Saturday and John Michael Urbano. Okay, this is great. Everyone tune in because I love John Michael Urbano. He's incredible.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing all this on the thing.
No, that's amazing. And then Lily said, I'm going to be volunteering at the local youth LGBTQ plus center. Outreach before it becomes crisis is so important too. Before, right? So like reaching out to people before it gets to that, like preventative, right?
Well, that's what we're trying to do through the youth.
So that's why we do Spam Month, right? Is like this idea of getting awareness. I think that would be related to awareness, is keeping
It's
people
like
on their
anything
toes.
else, if we can change it before it happens.
Right.
Imagine that. If we could get somebody hope and help when they're young, they may not go into the crisis situations that we all had to as adults.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Well, and now we're better at like diagnosing people, and we realize there's more like versions and areas and grays and colors within the spectrum of autism. So, and similar disorders. So that is really helpful too. We're getting better at
Mm-hmm.
diagnosing learning disabilities. That's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about this with the prison reform.
Yeah.
That we're never going to be on an equal playing field until everybody can get an education.
Mm-hmm.
Equal education.
Right.
We'll never be on the same playing field. No, John, that's why we call it spam, because we know how much you love it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But then Monday, I do want to say, of course, we have Burn It Down at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then Outside the Lines at
Whoa, wait a minute.
6 p.m.
And
Eastern.
Tuesday is the 20. Tuesday we have Darcy.
Tuesday is Darcy. That's right, on Journeys. So it's gonna be a cool
That
week.
is an
Yeah.
adult show, just so you
Yeah.
know.
So okay, let's say that. Yeah.
That will be for mature audience. Darcy works at the Mustang Ranch, and she is a fierce feminist, and she is going to be coming on. So that'll be amazing.
She's very, very. She's
Thursday,
brilliant. She's very brilliant.
she is very
Yeah.
brilliant.
There's a lot to talk with her about. Yeah.
Then Thursday we have Paul. He's a screenwriter. He's our link to Scott Bakula. We're working on that.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Yes, Scott Bakula. I have like an obsessive, like the one person that I want to meet that I've never met yet. I've never even
asked
tried.
you
I don't.
who you want. I said,
Yeah, you did it. You did it. I said
You
Scott Bakula.
I
Oh,
said
she
"You're
got
on
it. We
Destiny.
won
Why
your
don't you get
move.
you Scott Bakula?" And you were like, "Yes, go get him." So I'm working up to it. I got the screenwriter. He's worked with him. He's got all the pictures.
There's actually a picture on the poster of
Oh, yeah,
him
yeah,
with his
yeah.
arm around Scott Bakula. I'm watching the NCIS New Orleans and the original Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
I'm doing that now. Like right before I go to bed, I
You
watch
forgot
at
your
least
own
one.
show, Renee. David's telling you.
Yes. Okay. Outside the Lines, David is going to be the guest, and Manny and David and I are going to talk about music, and it's going to be all about music. And David, Manny said he would like for you to play something, if you could. So you don't have to, no pressure, but we would love if you would sing a song. You have a beautiful voice. Yeah, that's at 6 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 Central, and then Burn It Down. I don't think there's anything else on Monday, but yeah. So then we're good, and then there's Thursday. We have another Journeys, maybe. I don't know.
Thursday we have Paul. Tuesday is Dase, and Thursday is
It's somebody.
Paul, the screenwriter.
Oh, the screenwriter. So right. So Tuesday and Thursday, and then
Spam month, and that's when we have Oliver
and Sandy.
Another phenomenal.
Right, all of the spam month things, but also No Icing. I think is next Thursday too. Right? I think.
Oh yes, Sandy. Who are you having next Thursday?
There's too many things. I forget. Sandy, who's your guest? I don't know. I'm so bad with the schedule. Like I'm just so bad. If she's in here, she'll tell us. But otherwise, just look out she'll have a poster, and you'll get to know.
Oh,
there's a lot going on.
Doing a second part to Getting Salty.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. But that's Wednesday, right? Yeah.
Right. Wednesday.
Okay, so Getting Salty is the surfing show. I still have to replay the one from this week, but I love it. It's great. I don't even surf, and I like watching it. So I think it's really great. And yes, I'm going to follow up with Brandon. Let's do one final. There you go. Okay. It's, you know what it is? It's character night. It's No Icing character night. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah.
We didn't have our calendars. And let's leave on that note. Bye, everybody. And go to the Outpost.
I did, but I can't.
Go to the Outpost. No, just have it right there. Good